Hello there, my fellow tech aficionados. This is my pretty dated iPhone 11 Pro, and I am actually very desperate to replace it. Do not get me wrong, it still works, but the occasional slowdowns, less than stellar battery life and a camera system that is well past its prime time leave me, as someone who is very into tech, wanting for something new and shiny. There's only one big problem. Phones got terribly boring over the past couple of years, which in my opinion holds true especially for Apple's lineup. Again, do not get me wrong, the iPhone 15 looks like a fantastic upgrade for this one on paper, improving in almost every aspect. But this is precisely my point, it only improved. So while the newer, brighter and faster display, blazingly snappy SoC and drastically improved camera system will solve all my problems, it is more of the same. I will get the same everyday experience, just better. But if I would even really notice that during regular use, that is an entirely different situation, especially given the insane price tag flagship phones are carrying these days. If I were to invest that money right now, I would want something that feels different, offers fresh ideas and challenges me to find new ways to interact with my phone. That is where foldables come in for me and why I asked Samsung for one of their Fold5s. I know this puppy is pretty much old news by now, but I exchanged my iPhone for this one as my daily driver for the past couple of weeks to see how different and even practical it is to go for a very different but also very fresh smartphone experience. So let's get it out of the way right at the beginning. The main selling point for the Samsung is of course the whole situation that gives this puppy its name. Two screens, with one of them being able to fold flat to give you a somewhat normal smartphone form factor. At the front you get a pretty tall but narrow OLED display, and this is not just something for your notifications, but a full-featured 120Hz panel that might not get quite as bright as the main star of the show, but still gets the job done. Talking about the main screen, you do not only get a solid bump in brightness, but the increased size invites you to do all of your productivity or entertainment shenanigans. It is a pretty weird aspect ratio at first, but not because it's cumbersome to use, but I think we all grew pretty accustomed to what a phone is supposed to look like for the past decades. But once you get past the first few days, this is surprisingly practical. Not only did Samsung include some pretty handy multitasking features and general ease of use software adds and bits, but almost all apps I am using worked without any glitches or scaling problems, and took advantage of the larger screen reasonably well. While there is a noticeable crease when you're looking for it, since you almost never touch the middle of the screen, I completely forgot about it when using this one, and with the screen being so bright you do not really see it as well. Along the same lines, the whole folding mechanism feels extremely solid and very satisfying at the same time. And while I was only using this for a few weeks, and it's always hard for us to do any long-term tests, it at least seems like the Fold will be able to, well, fold without a problem over its lifespan. It is also pretty interesting to be out and about with this. While I would imagine if people saw you with this one a few years ago, with foldables being super niche, right now almost everybody knows these exist. And now it's not "what is this?" but the whole conversation shifted to something more like "how is it? Does it work? Is it practical?" etc. etc. And well, yes it is. For me the whole experience was entirely new. I have not used a lot of Android phones over the years, and Samsung's UI is also pretty new for me. But still, even being an iPhone user for almost a decade, I found my bearings pretty quickly, and there are quite a few things I really like a lot. While I am not the biggest fan of the whole notification management on Android, I love this little side drawer quick-start-favorites thing, and overall, all my daily apps and stuff worked without a problem. As for my individual upgrade, my iPhone 11 Pro is not only a few years old and has the occasional thinking break, but the screen is also just 60Hz. Combined with a top-of-the-line smartphone CPU that is the Snapdragon 8 Gen 2, the Fold5 really bumped up my phone experience to the next level. Everything felt extremely snappy, and while I don't think specs and individual performance numbers for high-end smartphones matter too much, I mean, let's be honest here guys, these puppies are fast enough for almost anything you can do on a phone these days. It really did feel like a considerable speed improvement, and it allowed me to interact with my stuff a lot more directly, if that makes sense. Unfortunately, not everything here is all sunshine and rainbows, and while the Fold gave me precisely what I was looking for, a fresh and different smartphone experience, the camera system left me a little wanting. Do not get me wrong here, the Fold5 does have a solid camera system, but since I would categorize myself as a content creator, shooting a lot of stuff for our socials on my phone, by the way, make sure to follow us on these very socials for some behind the scenes content, the free shooters in the Samsung just did not feel as substantial an upgrade as the rest of the device. If you want to get into more detail about what I am talking about, please head on over to our written review for the Fold on our website. In there you get all of our juicy details about this one, be it performance comparisons to competitors, detailed sensor analysis, and of course our battery and stress test results. Alright folks, so after we got all of this out of the way, I think it's time not really for a verdict, but maybe much more importantly to answer one crucial question. Would I be ready to invest a few $100 more over a premium flagship smartphone for the novelty of a foldable? Rationally, yes, you get quite a bit for the extra money. Two very good screens, a much more comfortable productivity experience, and some very generous screen real estate for all your entertainment and doom scrolling needs. But it remains a very expensive option, even though Samsung puts their stuff on sale much more regularly. But still, I have to be honest with you guys, I am very undecided. While I really enjoyed driving this daily for a little bit and grew quite fond not only of this particular form factor, but also of Android itself and the software tweaks Samsung offers in particular, the camera system left me wanting a little bit, which is not a feeling I want personally when spending that much for a phone. Even though I do use it for work, which offsets quite a bit of the upfront cost. But please folks, let me know what you think. What smartphone are you using right now? Do you feel the same way as I do, that the whole smartphone market does feel a little dull right now, and would you consider a foldable for yourself? Sound off in the comments below. This shall be it for today. Thanks a ton for watching. Make sure to leave a like and sub on your way out. My name is Alex, you have been awesome, and I cannot wait to see you all in the next one. Take care.